Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you've been watching me for the last few weeks, you've noticed that I've been shooting a lot of ortho film, and I must apologise for any of you that don't like ortho film. I do, and I've been shooting quite a lot. Reason being, I got a brick of it a little while back, and I'm down to my last roll of 35mm. I've actually got 120 left, but I'm down to my last 35mm roll, and I thought I'd use it on some portraits. I did do a shoot last year, putting acros and ortho together when I went out, and I shot a couple of my daughter at the time, and I was absolutely blown away by the differences with the ortho film compared to panchromatic film. So I thought to myself, I might as well take another portrait of my daughter Jess indoors under strobe light and try and get some lighting conditions going, but this time use my Pentax Spotmatic F. I haven't used this camera for probably a good part of a year now. It had some light leaks, but I only recently done the light seals on it and the light leaks have gone, so hurrah for that. So I thought I'd get it out and do some portraits with my daughter. Standard SMC Takuma Pentax lens, fantastic little lens that is. Now I'm no stranger to portraits. I had a portrait studio many years ago, and I kept everything simple. Whenever I did portraits, I always kept my lighting very simple, usually a large softbox 45 degree down, looking at the subject so the light would softly wrap around the face, and it worked for me. I loved the portraits I was taking. I didn't need to overlight or overcomplicate or overthink lighting conditions for portraits. However, this time I wanted to try a couple more. I wanted to try a little bit of butterfly lighting and some clamshell lighting as well, and also a couple of lenses. So I've got that 50mm on the Pentax there. I've also got this 135 CANON lens that I wanted to try out, so I've used that too. So I'll just quickly show you around the setup that I've got. So this is the strobe light that's for the back wall. So I did some metering, making sure that the back wall was a couple of stops brighter, and I did a couple of test shots on DSLR just to make sure the light was falling where I wanted it to fall. Pretty much as you would Polaroids back in the day. So I went ahead and did some DSLR shots, and then I started shooting on the ortho film, but something went wrong along the way. And I know a lot of YouTube channels don't show the errors, but I like to, because it's, you know, we all make these mistakes, and I think it's important to throw them out there. There's no point in me covering them up and making it all look great, because sometimes it's not, and this particular time it wasn't. I don't know what happened, but as I was shooting, the flashes were going off, everything was fine. Now and again the flash didn't go off, but half of my frames were completely underexposed and the other ones came out okay. I only took about half of the roll of film, cut the rest out to use at another time. I don't know what happened. So this is Jess. We're about to take some photographs now, and she's got this nice grey top on. She hasn't got much makeup on at the moment, but we're going to change that in a little while and go a little bit heavier on the eyes and around the lips as well. So you ready?
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to do a couple of digital shots first. Just doing some digital shots first, just to make sure that the light is falling and all her clothes, etc., in the right place. Your shoulder, just pull your left shoulder towards me a bit more. No, your left shoulder. There you go. That'll do that one. That's it. That's nice. 1, 2, 3. Good shot. Ready? Smile. 1, 2, 3. That's a good one. So she's got a red lipstick on now and a bit more heavy around the eyes. Hopefully the ortho is going to make that, well, it will make that red go kind of dark. She's got blue eyes, natural blue eyes, Jess, and she's got this eye makeup on as well, so we should get some contrast around the eyes, a little bit around the lips. Let's go. Chin down a little tiny bit. That's nice. Pull your shoulders in again like you did then. Whee! That's lovely. Little smile. That's nice. And remember the, there you go. Nice. That's lovely. Right. No, you can't. I was going to say, I'm just going to change the lighting round. I'm just going to try some butterfly lighting. 1, 2, 3. And again, 1, 2, 3. It went off that time. Up, there. Stop, look at me. Got it. One, two, three, ready? Got it. Okay, hang on. A couple more like that, Jess. Slow! One shot. Very good, actually.
That's so funny.
Smile, Jess, for Nan and Grandad. Right, I'm going to change the lenses over. That's it, lovely. There you go. Oh, lovely. The last shot is going to be a timer, self-timer. Let's try that out on this Pentax. I think it'll work. Here we go. Take my glasses off. Got some beads on my head. I'm coming in.
I blinked.
Oh, you didn't? So with the ortho film, it's not so sensitive to the end of the colour scale, kind of oranges and reds, especially reds. You know, if you take a photograph of a post box, it's going to come out kind of middle grey on panchromatic film. It's going to come out dark or even black on ortho film. So I wanted to shoot this film with my daughter, knowing that any imperfections in the face, i.e. spots, zits, whatever you want to call them, freckles, are going to come out kind of dark. And also red lipstick, that's going to come out black. And her eyes are blue, so they're going to come out quite piercing as well. So I wanted to shoot ortho film for that different look. So the whole reason behind this was to give Jess's grandparents a framed photograph of her for indoors. They'd love it, of course they would. They love their grandchild. So that's the whole idea. But so I'm, you know, although it didn't go too well, I'm really pleased that I managed to get a few nice frames that I can print in the darkroom and put into frames for her grandparents. So I've decided to go for one of the negatives that I preferred, which was on the 135mm lens, and it's in the enlarger at the moment. I've just done a couple of tests and I'm quite happy with what I've come back with, which is 15 seconds overall. I haven't done a complete page or complete print yet on a full-size piece of paper. I'm only going for a 9.5 by 7.5 print, which is going to fit in the frame that I've got. So I'm going to have to do a little tiny bit of burning, but let's do a full-size print anyway first. I'm using 10x8 Ilford's multi-grade paper. So 15 seconds with a 2.5 grade filter in there. I've got a feeling I'm going to have to do a little tiny bit of, you might not be able to see it on the camera there, but a bit of burning around a jumper. I don't know yet. Let's have a look at a full-size print and then we'll see. Into the developer, Ilford's multi-grade developer I'm using. And wait for that to come through. I've calculated about a minute in the development time with my tests, so that's what I'm going to give this. It's looking nice, but it's only halfway there. Before I carry on, check out the new SFLaB Beginner's Guide to Film Photography and Darkroom Printing. It's a complete beginner's guide from buying your first camera and developing film at home all the way to making your first darkroom print. Packed with lots of information, illustrations and exclusive unseen step-by-step videos, all in a simple and easy way to understand, with personal email support from me along the way. Hit the link in this video's description or visit the SFLaB website for more details. So I'm really happy with that. It's come out really nice. This is the 10x8 print that I've just done, or 9x7, whatever it was I said. These are the first two test prints that I did. I didn't do any increment test prints. I just did this one and this one. This was 10 seconds and this one was 15 seconds. 10 seconds looked a bit too light, so I gave it 15 just to see where it would go, and then I did a whole overall print at 15 seconds. But I just feel like this part of the face here is just got a bit too dark. It's got a 2.5 grade filter in there. I could start playing around with contrast filters, but I'm not going to. I'm going to use my dodge tool, so I'm going to do another print exactly the same as this, 15 seconds, this time for about 3 or 4 seconds, just dodge this area of Jessica's face. And this part is just a little bit blown out on her jumper, but it's kind of off away from the frame, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. I could burn that in, but I don't know, I may do. Let's have a look. Down goes the paper, so we're going to go on for 15 seconds. I'm just going to dodge 1, 2, 3, about that. That's about enough. And I'll tell you what, I'm just going to burn a little bit of the jumper in, just to throw that a bit see if I can use the dodge tool again. Just turn the light on the enlarger, just bouncing around the jumper at the bottom. See if we can pull some more detail out of that. And just the very top of her hair. And off. That should be done. Now don't forget what I said, this is a gift for my Jessica's grandparents, so it doesn't have to be spot on perfect in my eyes. They'll love it. It's a picture of their granddaughter in a frame, so you know, any slight imperfections they're not going to worry about whatsoever. Jess may, but they won't. But you know, always, that's not to say any excuses, it's always trying to do your best with your knowledge and the tools at your disposal, you know. It's coming out really nice. I love the eyes are really piercing, and I do love the way that Ortho just kicks into that red lipstick, just gives it such a different look. And that lens is pretty sharp too. And that's the second print, so just by dodging a little tiny bit here where I did, it's just lined up a little tiny bit, and I've burned down the bottom here. As you can see the difference, I've burned down the bottom in Jessica's jumper, and it looks nice. It's a nice portrait ready for framing. So that was quite a result after all that. I'm really pleased that I managed to get some frames out of that film, I must admit. And I chose that 135mm shot in the end. I just felt like the 50mm, the 135 just seemed to pull Jessica in more towards the camera than the 50mm did. I just preferred the way it balanced out. So that's why I used the Pentax Spotmatic and that 135mm lens. But I don't know what went wrong. I really don't. I'll just show you the gear that I'm using here. And these are pretty cheap. You get these on eBay. These are only about 10 quid. That's £1 for you guys that don't know what a quid is. Why would you if you're not in Britain, I suppose. But anyway, it works, but intermittently it wasn't working. But even so, I could see back on the video when the flash went off, I was still getting these dead negatives. I was like, as if the flash wasn't going off. But you can see, once it's charged, I'll show you. But I couldn't understand why or what was happening, and I checked the blades on the on both lenses. They were fine. I mean, it happened to both lenses, so it's obviously not the lens. It's powered up now. I'll show you. This seems to work fine. Different. Didn't work then, but. And it didn't work. Oh no, that's right. It's charging. Waiting for the flash to charge. Of course it is. But so these seem to be working fine. But I couldn't understand. You know, when the flash went off, I could see it on the video, but I still had a flat negative. I still had an underexposed neg. I couldn't figure that one out. So I ruled out the lenses. I thought it can't be the lenses. So it's got to be something to do with the camera. Maybe the flash is firing before the shutter does intermittently. I don't know. It's something I'll have to play around with. And you know, if any of you guys got any idea for me to try out, I'm completely at loggerheads with it, to be honest with you. Great camera, Pentax Spotmatic. I've never had any troubles with this at all in the past, and I have done some studio shoots on it as well. But that's the first time that it's gave me a few hiccups. But I don't know whether it's the camera, whether it's the triggers that are firing or delaying. I really don't know. I'll have to try it out. Who knows? But you know, I didn't need to put this video out. But I did, because what's the point in hiding any problems that goes on? It happens to all of us, and if it makes people feel comfortable that, you know, you're not the only ones this happens to, it happens to me as well. But I'm glad that I've come out with a nice print at the end of the day. They're going to go off to Jessica's grandparents, and I'll get those two framed. In fact, there's only one. I've got to print another one for, which I'll do after this video. And as for the Ortho film, I like shooting it. I developed that in Rodinal at 1:25. Now, I have said in previous videos that I prefer to use Rodinal for kind of like architectures and gritty stuff, street stuff, not so much seascapes and landscapes, but it has worked for me for those. And with regards to this portrait, I think I could have done with a bit of D76 or maybe X-Tol or even Perceptol for this kind of portrait, just to pull the grain down. But nevertheless, it's only a small print, and you know, you're not going to be looking at prints this close. You know, who does that? It's going to go up on the wall and they'll see it. They probably won't see it anyway, but and they'll see it go up on the wall, and they'll go up on the wall. They're not going to be looking at it under a magnifying glass, so every time they see it, they'll love it. You know, that's their granddaughter, and that's what it's all about. Photography is just making memories, making moments, and pleasing people, you know. And of course, you know, like I said, if you go online and have a look at Ortho film portraits, especially models with people that have got freckles, you'll see the freckles really do stand out because the freckles are kind of like orangey in colour, and the ortho film's going to render those as dark, especially like the red lipstick goes to dark black. And I think ortho film just comes to bring out a little bit more detail in the face than panchromatic film, and that's why I like it. Jessica's eyes are really piercing, you know, and the whole look of it is just different. You know, you either like it or you don't. It's like Marmite. But I'm going to get on with some panchromatic film for the next few videos, guys. So stay tuned, subscribe and all that stuff. Thanks for watching. Thanks to all the people who support the channel. I'll catch you next time.